Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to show you my stretching routine in the form of a raw stretching session. I saw that Movement by David, Stay Flexy, did this, and I got a lot of entertainment and knowledge out of it. So I thought, hey, why don't I do this on my channel? I'm sure there's a lot of people here who would find me doing it just as enjoyable as I found David doing it. So without further ado, let's get into this. To warm up, I pick 6 stretches that I alternate between for 3 sets of 30 seconds. And I don't do them to my full ability. I just do them really light to kind of get the blood flowing and get warmed up. So the first stretch on that list is the frog split, like this. It's one of my favorite stretches, and as I said before, I'm gonna hold it for 30 seconds, rocking back and forth. I like rocking back and forth better than just holding it statically, because I find it helps me get deeper and it helps the time pass faster. So we're already halfway there. Just gonna keep going, try to open the legs a little more as we're getting into this now. And 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. From here, we switch to the second stretch in the rotation, which is the seated straddle split. So I just open my legs up a little bit, not to my full extension of my flexibility. And then I start the timer and I just lean forward a little bit, really avoiding any pain or deep stretch, just trying to get warmed up, you know? So I'm just shifting forward, halfway there already. This is one of my favorites. I love the way this feels. All right, we're at 20 seconds, so there's 10 seconds left to go. This video is probably gonna be a little boring if you're just watching it, guys. So unless you're somebody, unless you're watching this to 30 seconds, we switch to butterfly stretch now, like this. Unless you're watching this to fall asleep or just to have something on in the background, I really recommend following along, because it's a great way to get your flexibility in. And whether you're an athlete or not, stretching will just make your life better. And especially if you are an athlete and you're not stretching, come on, man. Do you want to be the best? You got to stretch, right? So yeah, if you're watching this at school or work or something, or someplace where you can't follow along, I like to switch to now I switch to this deep squat type thing, and I use my elbows to push my knees apart. But yeah, if you're watching this at school or work or someplace where you can't follow along, I really recommend just pausing it, wait till you get home, and then follow along, you know? And yeah, guys, let me know down below in the comments if you like this type of video and you would like to see more. Maybe not more stretching, but just more raw videos instead of kind of my normal scripted sterile ones. So just let me know what you think. And that's 30 seconds. Next we switch to a toe touch. Now I can touch my toes easy, so I'm just gonna do this. Obviously, if you were really stretching, I'd be trying to get my elbows to touch the floor. But as I said, this is just a warm up. So for somebody who can't touch their toes, or maybe you can touch their toes, but it's super difficult for them, they could do this, and that would be a fine warm up. But for me, my toe touch is so good that this is relatively easy. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, next we are going to switch to our front splits, and this is easily one of my least favorite stretches. I'm so bad at them. So my front splits are a little better than this, but since we are just getting warmed up, it's going to look like this right now. All right, so 10 seconds in right now, or about 10 seconds in, 20 seconds to go. But yeah, stretching is really important, just as a human being, even because in life, if you're not an athlete, you're always sitting. You go to school or you go to work and you sit. Then you go home and you sit on a couch, and then you go to bed and you lay down in the bed. So it's important to stretch, So it's just gonna make you healthier for longer and kind of avoid those pains that you get as you get older. And if you're an athlete, you want to stretch for a few reasons. You want to stretch to increase your longevity, right? Because being an athlete is hard on your body. It hurts. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. When you do some of these skills, you get done, you're in pain. And stretching is going to help you be in less pain And it's also going to help the pain not get worse as you age, so you can do your favorite skills for as long as humanly possible. Like you can be, I don't know if you guys have seen that guy, he's like 80 years old and he can still do a backflip on like a mat, which is crazy. So if you want to be like that guy, you've got to stretch, because it's just going to keep your body healthy for longer. So that's the first reason, or it's kind of two reasons in one. And as I said, we repeat these 6 stretches 3 times, and that's our warm-up. And then we get into the heavy stretching. But the second reason as an athlete that you want to stretch is for your aesthetics. Like if you're doing a skill, right? Like for breakdancing, like a flare, maybe, or an air flare. For like tricking, like a gainer switch or a gainer flash. You know, for calisthenics, like maybe your one-arm handstand or your straddle planche. And you don't have a very good split, or like a very good whatever expression and flexibility is needed, the skill isn't going to look as beautiful as it could look. But if you have a full split and you do that gainer flash or that flash kick, it's going to be like, wow, it's going to be so pretty. You know, or breaking, you do that windmill, that flare, or you're doing that one-arm handstand, your legs are like nice and open. So that's the second reason you want to stretch. And they're both very important. Like even if you don't care about what happens to your body later, which you should, because if this is what makes you, if being an athlete is what makes you happy, then you should want to be able to do it for as long as possible. Then you should at least care about your aesthetics, you know. And you know, if you don't care about your aesthetics, you should at least care about your body. You know, you should really be caring about both. So stretching should kind of be a no-brainer. And you should take stretching seriously too. So like, I used to stretch a lot, but I would stretch while either like watching a TV show or scrolling social media, you know, or something like that. And the distraction, like if you want to, I think it's okay to listen to music while you're stretching. You can talk to a camera like I'm doing, or another human being. You can listen to a podcast, but I think anything that you have to interact with, or like touch, or like even just watch, is just a no. So like for example, if you're doing music, have a playlist, make it so that you don't have to touch the screen. If you don't have that, you shouldn't be listening to music. Like you should have the music on, and it should be something that you don't have to worry about until the end of your stretching session, right? If you're recording yourself or if you're talking to somebody, like that's cool, but the camera shouldn't be the main focus, and it shouldn't be like, you know, I'm constantly making sure the camera's on. I'm constantly I'm like getting up to like talk to this person. Like, you know, the stretching has to be the main focus, but I think overall doing that is okay. So to recap, if you want to listen to music or a podcast or talk to somebody or record yourself, I think that's fine, as long as it's not too much of a distraction. But I definitely think that you should not be interacting with something, you know. So like watching TV especially, that just kills your stretching. Like you can watch TV for 3 hours and be stretching. It's like you stretch for like, at least in my eyes, it's like you stretch for like no time at all. Maybe some people are disciplined to the point where they can like put the stretching first over the TV, but for me, I just always see a lack of quality in my stretching when I'm watching TV, especially if it's a good show that I'm like invested in watching. So yeah, I really recommend like 15 minutes to an hour daily of stretching with no minimum distractions, all right? You know, and 15 minutes is your starting point, but I really recommend, for me at least, the sweet spot is 45 minutes, all right? Now this video might not be 45 minutes because I already stretched a lot this morning, probably for like a half an hour. But for me, like the sweet spot, or the average to aim for every single day, is 45 minutes. And now nobody's perfect, you don't have to start at 45 minutes, right? But I really think that you should try to work your way up to 45 minutes a day. And if you're somebody who's like naturally really flexible, and like let's just say hypothetically, like this hypothetical person might not exist or might not be watching this video. But let's say that hypothetically, you've never had to practice any of your stretches, but they are all perfect, right? Like no warm up, you don't need to stretch at all. You can like sit in the car for 2 hours and do perfect middle split, perfect front split, you know, you're like, do I need to stretch? And the answer is yes, but you should just be working on different things. So instead of doing so much passive stretching like I'm doing right now, you should be working on active flexibility and strengthening. So that's essentially like getting the strength like you get from push-ups, right? Or that's kind of a bad example because we're stretching legs right now. But getting the strength that you would say that you would get from squats, let's say, in these high range flexibility positions, right? So I do this stuff too because I'm getting a little more flexible and it's important for the breakdancing stuff that I do. But I'll demonstrate a few things and then we'll get back to the warm-up. Like for example, doing the Cossack squats, right? This is an example of combining strength and flexibility, right? Or doing the leg kicks, right? You have to be flexible and strong to do these. So if you're somebody who's super flexible, then you can maybe do that, right? All right. Moving into our next pancake here. Now, as you can see, I'm getting a little more warm, so I can go significantly deeper here. And this is how you should start to feel by the third set. And maybe if you're somebody who's extra stiff and you're not feeling this way, maybe add in a few more warm-up sets. Or maybe add in something else at the beginning of your stretching. Like I don't really feel the need to do a dynamic warm-up before I stretch, but some people who are extra stiff might feel that need, all right? But yeah, essentially, no matter the level that you are, you can always find something to do flexibility-wise, okay? I think I forgot butterfly. Yeah, I forgot my butterfly, so we'll double up on butterfly. I got so carried away talking. But yeah, so essentially having that passive flexibility is very important, right? Like these passive static positions. But active flexibility is also very important, especially if you're somebody who wants to transfer into skills. Like doing a static full split, like a static full middle split, is very different than holding a perfect 180 degree angle in your air flare, right? Like that's way harder. So make sure that, you know, if you're already pretty flexible, make sure that even if you're not the most flexible, you can always benefit from practicing your active flexibility too. Just don't be dumb and push it too hard and get injured, because like with momentum, you can always overdo it, right? Like it's way easier to hit something that you're not ready for with speed than it is to do it statically. But even still, you should still be cautious when it comes to your static flexibility, because I've definitely been dumb in both of these cases, where in both my static stretches and my active stretches, I've like felt the need to push it too far to like prove something, or I felt like, oh, if I'm this flexible in this area, the injury will just go away, and in reality, I just made it way worse. So always be smart about your stretching. Remember, it's a slow and a long game. You're not gonna like get super duper flexible overnight. It's just about consistency. And if you're consistent and you show up, then yeah, you will see results. All right. I really believe that. Because yeah, you don't want to rush flexibility. You don't want to make, if you have an injury and like let's say you got injured and you're like, okay, I got injured because I'm really tight, let's say. Make sure that's the reason, like kind of like do some thinking, like make sure that tightness is the actual reason that you got injured, and not like a lack of conditioning. But like let's say that it is a fact that you got injured because you're tight. The last thing you want to do is like, wow, this injury is fresh, jump into the heaviest, sorry about the bus guys, jump into the heaviest stretching that you can do. Like don't do that. Like stretching a little bit when you're injured is okay, just avoid any pain and just do very light stretching, but you always want to take it easy, you know? Focus on gaining flexibility slowly over time. You don't need to force anything. If you show up and you try hard, like don't be lazy, you know what I mean? But if you show up every day and you don't get injured, you avoid pain, because like here's the thing. Let's say that you show up every day and you give your straddle splits 75% effort for a month. You are going to make tremendous gains in those straddle splits or those middle splits. But if you show up one day, right, and you give your straddle splits 100%, and then you get hurt and you can't do your straddle splits for a month, you'd be better off doing 50% effort or 25% effort. You know what I mean? So like for a month instead of doing like 100% effort for one day and getting hurt. So like always err on the side of caution. And I really think that 75% effort is the sweet spot, okay? Like maybe some days if you're like pushing flexibility and you're actually pushing flexibility as a skill, you can increase the effort a little bit. But like when I'm stretching for health, I like to think of 75% effort, all right? Like that's the magic number for me. All right, and now we're getting into the main body of my stretching, so the actual hard stuff. So I usually really focus on the middle split because that's everything in breaking. Like every skill, every basic power move is pretty much in the middle split, right? So I'm going to alternate between a static stretch and an active stretch, okay? The static stretch is going to be the full middle split. I'm going to hold it for 30 seconds. And then I am going to do the standing middle split, or the standing with reps of the standing pancake. So I'll show you guys real quick what all this stuff is. So this is a seated stretch, right? This is your seated middle split. Here's your seated pancake. Like that, okay? And then here's your full middle split, like this, okay? Now, here is your standing middle split, which not only uses your flexibility, but is like a weightlifting exercise because you're having to lift your own body weight off of the ground, all right? So this is the standing middle split, all right? Like this. And then the standing pancake, I got something in my eye, is when you go forward and down like this. And then up, all right? So that's two stretches, one passive, one active. We are going to be doing 5 sets of each for 30 seconds, alternating between, all right? And we're gonna be trying to pancake in those positions, all right? Just lightly, the main focus is holding now. So let's start off with our full middle split for 30 seconds. And I'm just gonna kind of lean forward a little bit. We're getting into it, you know, we're warming up. It feels pretty tight right now, but I'm telling you guys from experience, because I did this exact same routine this morning, that the more that you get into it, like maybe by set 2 or set 3, I think around set 3 for me is the sweet spot, that you really start to feel good and you really start to like enjoy sinking into the position, right? All right, now we're gonna do our active one, all right? So yeah, you guys, at this point, you know, if you've made it this far, thank you. Pretty dedicated to watch the video this long, right? But yeah, if you have got to the point where you've watched the video this long, tell me what you think of it. And again, I think I've already said this, but tell me if you would want to see more raw content like this. And let me know, like, maybe you want to see more stretching content specifically, or maybe you want to see just more raw content in general, or both, you know? So just let me know. I'm actually enjoying this. It's kind of a little bit of a mental battle for me because I like to post like really clean, sterile content onto YouTube for some reason. Because I just feel like sometimes with training it's so unpredictable, right? Like you can't have control over whether you have a good session or a bad session, right? But you can have control of whether or not you post a good session or a bad session on YouTube, right? So I feel like YouTube is giving me some like artificial feeling of control over my training, you know, which is good. But I want to start to try and break out of my comfort zone, you know, and make some different types of content essentially, and some more like raw and real types of content, right? And now, like, I don't want to get to the point where I'm like not putting effort into my videos at all. I want to put effort into my every single video and be happy with every single video, but I don't want to let my need for perfection stop me from trying anything new, if that makes sense. So I'm still really invested in putting out 100% quality videos. But that being said, as long as I'm trying my hardest, I want to try some new stuff, you know? And maybe branch out into some stuff like I'm not 100% good at yet or 100% happy with yet. But I think as long as I try my hardest, it's something that I could be happy with, or learn to be happy with, you know? So I don't know, that's just how I feel. You guys are gonna have to let me know if you would like to see content like this. Like, I'm not gonna, if I'm having like some terrible like training session where I like can barely do good moves, like I'm not gonna post that, but I'm just not gonna I wanna start posting some stuff that's not so curated. Like maybe I have like a good training session, right, where I do like a bunch of sets of air flares and I get 3 sets of like 10 plus air flares. Maybe I'll have some days where I'll just post those 3 sets, right? And like put it to some epic music for like a compilation or something. But then maybe I'll have other days where I post the whole training session so you can see me like warming up, and like maybe I hit 10 air flares and then I like start losing it, and then I like, you know what I mean? Some more like raw content. I'm really interested to see if that's something that you guys would want. So you have to let me know. I mean, if you're watching the video this far in, if you're not hate watching, you're at least enjoying this to some degree, so that's good. But yeah, as you can see, we're at the 3rd set here, and this is kind of my sweet spot where it's like I'm feeling really warm and I'm feeling really good about getting into that full middle split. And the 4th set will probably get even further, alright? Oh, feels good. But yeah, so maybe, and like another thing that I want to start doing is like tutorials, because tutorials are a lot of work for me, because I like really like to have them perfect and stuff. Like for example, the backflip on concrete tutorial that I made took so long. Like I literally I posted like 2 videos in the span of a month. I didn't post anything else, and I just worked on that tutorial. And I actually ended up losing 2 subscribers over the span of that month because I just wasn't posting. And then I posted the tutorial and I got like 5 subscribers from it. So it was a net positive. But I want to start making tutorials, but not at that cost. Like I still want to be posting a lot. Because, you know, it's going to be a little easier because we've got the summer coming up now, guys. And I'm going to have a lot more free time. I'm going to be trying to be posting every single day because I think my New Year's goal was 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But now that's like my ultimatum. Like I better achieve that. Not you guys better get that for me, but I better work hard enough to the point where that happens for me. But now I'm like thinking more short term, essentially. Where it's like I want 400 subscribers by the end of May, and then like into June I want 500 subscribers, and then by September I want 1,000. Like I want to like really be cranking out the content and like grow an audience, you know. And I'm really thankful for you guys. You guys have been, when I first started doing YouTube, I never imagined that I would have a community like this. So it's been so cool to see this grow. I did not expect to make this much progress, right? But yeah, now my new goal, I really want to be, where is my train of thought? Oh yeah, tutorials. I have more free time now, but maybe doing more like raw tutorials, where it's like, have you ever seen like Pygmy or Lucas's tutorials? Like yeah, Pygmy, Focus, Lucas, where he kind of just does a bunch of, he's teaching the tutorial in the moment, and it's like raw, and then maybe there's like a few edits here and there or voiceover, but it's pretty raw. I think those would be easier for me. So maybe, because I know people want tutorials, so maybe I can make more tutorials like that, you know what I mean? Where they're not so perfect, and then maybe every once in a while, if I'm feeling it, I do like a tutorial in the style of the backflip on concrete video. But I can just get out more tutorials by doing more like, you know, raw. But yeah, we're gonna see. I'm really excited to see what this summer brings. I have a lot of big goals. I have a lot of big stuff coming up, and it's so cool to not only have a community of people that watch my videos, but are also like high-level athletes in their own right. So we get to like push each other, and you know, hopefully one day we can all have world records or something, you know, because I want to be the best in the world at a lot of stuff, you know, or at least world class in a lot of everything that I do, movement wise. But hopefully the community can all grow, so like we're all progressing together. And like collectively, we can look back like 1 year and be like, wow, you know, standing full was the hard skill this year. Well, now we all have standing full, and we're working on I don't know, round off double full or round off double back, or you know, who knows, standing double full, standing dub back. I think that would be so freaking cool. I don't know about you guys. I think it would be so cool. All right, last set here. I've been blabbing away, but I've been keeping track in my head. I'm gonna try to do 5 reps of the pancake in this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not the most controlled, 5, but I'll take it. 28, 29, 30. Whew. Yeah, that made it burn. And we're just gonna do, just for fun, we'll do 1 more middle split for 30 seconds, and then we'll do front splits. Not for fun, the front splits are always part of it, but I'm just gonna do an extra middle split for fun. Then we're gonna do the front splits, 30 seconds each side, 3 sets, and then we're gonna call this video a day. And you know, if you guys like this, it's received well, be honest with me. Like, I'm not gonna be mad at you if you're like, I found this video to be the most boring thing in the world and I will never get any use out of it. Like, just let me know, be honest with me. I am all for constructive criticism, guys. Or even just criticism if you're not a jerk about it. So yeah, please feel free to tell you what you actually thought of the video. And that'll determine if I make more of them or not, you know? But yeah, if you guys like this, I might do like a shoulder stretching one tomorrow, or a more in-depth one of this, or like, I don't know. We'll have to see. It all depends if you guys like it or not. I might do a shoulder stretching one tomorrow, regardless, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so as you can see too, the difference in the middle splits from set 1 to set 6 is much, much better. It feels almost effortless. Maybe it's because I could be going deeper, but I think that it's pretty official. Alright, let's knock these front splits out. It's funny, earlier today I was filming this exact video, and I ended up just deleting it because I was so paranoid that the camera was gonna shut off that I actually checked the camera like a bunch of times, and I ended up shutting it off a bunch of the times that I checked it. So it was no longer a raw video, it was like a chop. I have to edit it, and that defeats the purpose of a raw video. So that was a bummer, but kind of not, because this is the second time I'm doing this routine. But anyways, when I was filming this video earlier today, there was this giant bee, and it kept landing on me while I was doing the stretches, and I knew that, you know, if you freak out, the bee's gonna sting you. So I just had to be so calm, and even I couldn't like freak out at the end of the stretch because the bee would sting me. So there's just a giant bee like perched on my ankle or my knee or my face or something, or my wrist. I don't think it ever landed on my face, but there's just a giant bee that landed on me a bunch of times, and I just had to be so calm, which I know a lot of my friends, actually, I think a lot of my friends would be chill with it. Any girl that I know would freak out if a bee landed on them, and then they get stung, so. that would be bad. Yeah, bee stings are not pretty. I remember one time, I wasn't there for this, but I think it was my friend saw that a girl was walking, right, and a bee stung her on the lip, and she started crying, but she wasn't crying because the bee sting hurt. She was crying because her lip swelled up and she thought it made her look ugly, which not funny in the moment, but you know, it's kind of funny, the priorities, right? It's like, did that hurt? Oh no, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, it's just interesting. Versus like me, I wouldn't be carrying out my physical appearance. I'd just be like, ow, that really hurt. Or perhaps am I allergic, because I've never been stung by a bee, and that's not something I want to have to find out in the moment. But you know, the last thing I'd be thinking about was, oh, am I ugly now? Alright, we're in the second set. As you can see, I'm getting way deeper now that I'm warm. It feels so good. I'm really excited. I've been lazy as heck with the front splits, guys. Like, I've been obsessed with middle split. There was even a period where I was trying to like fall asleep in my wall middle splits. I never did, probably for the best. But there was a point where it's like every night for like 3 hours, or not 3 hours. I'm not that mentally tough. And maybe like 30 minutes to an hour before I fell asleep, I was just holding the wall split, like fall asleep, fall asleep, fall asleep. And then, you know, I was watching TV or playing video games in the wall split, which, even though it's not the most effective way to gain flexibility, if you're watching TV or a movie for like 3 hours and you're holding the wall split the whole time, you are going to gain some flexibility, right? So yeah, I was like hammering away in the middle split, and then I got to the period like when I got serious, where it was like 15 minutes a day I was doing like hardcore middle split stretching, you know what I mean? Like going as deep as I could. And then recently I've been stretching for like hour periods and I've just been doing middle split the whole time, right? So like I really got it locked in. I'm even at the point now where it's like I'll go on a road trip and I gotta get better about doing this. Like when I leave on a road trip for like competition or something, I don't stretch and it's so bad. But I got it to the point, like I finally knew I had it. It's like I left for a road trip and my life before the road trip for a competition was so hectic, and I didn't stretch for like 2 days before, and then I didn't stretch during the competition, and then I didn't stretch like a day or a day and a half after, and I still had my full middle split like down. So that's kind of when I knew I really had it. But essentially the point is I've been dedicating all of my time stretching to the middle split and not the front splits. So I gotta start focusing on the front splits now, and I am really excited to get focusing on these front splits more, right? So this is the last set. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more raw videos from me, whether it be raw flexibility videos or just raw training videos in general. I'm very interested to see you guys' thoughts on this video. I'm taking a risk here. But I'm still going to be doing all my old content that you guys know and love. I'm just trying to do some new stuff, some new extra stuff. Like, it's not going to take away from my old stuff, so don't we worry about that. But yeah, this has been a really fun video, guys. I had a lot of fun recording it. It just kind of made the time of stretching go by way faster, especially since this is my second stretching today. Yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that may be. Peace.